Today's video is going to be centered on Smallchops catering for an event, that is an outdoor event. What I mean is, if your client makes a request and they want you to serve Smallchops at an event, this video is going to cover everything you need to know on how to set up and serve at that event. Welcome to my vlog channel. My name is Susan and this is my vlog channel, the fun version of my recipe channel where I share all things DIY, millinery tutorials, family vlog, lifestyle, commercial no-fail business recipes on cakes, on small chops, on drinks, juices and the likes, and also how to earn money on the side every Friday as a baker, a small chops vendor, or a pastry chef like myself, where I was Today's video is going to be centered on everything you need to know and everything you need to put in place when you are about to do small chops catering or to serve small chops at an outdoor event. So the first thing I have to tell you is do not panic. Yes, please do not panic. You are capable. The second thing is do not get too excited to give a price. There is inflation everywhere, so don't get too excited to just immediately give out a price. Please don't do that. The best thing you're going to do is to tell that client to give you at least an hour to send your quotation. That makes your client know that this is a professional conversation. You want everything to be documented. You've watched my A to Z video, my starter pack video on small chops business. That is everything you need to have as a person when you start a small chops business. To watch that video, I made mention that one, you should have like an industrial gas cooker. Don't get a camp gas. Make use of an industrial gas cooker. The reason is you're working with a camp gas, you're going to be having issues with trying to make your frying pan to sit very well on the gas where you're trying to run around to do some things, and it is not safe. So make sure you have an industrial gas cooker. If you don't have a personal one, you can rent. It's always available for renting. Then go with a gas lighter. Don't go with a matchbox. No, please go with a gas lighter. It is much more efficient. Then also go with an iron cast pan. Don't use any of those fancy pans. Please no. Use an iron cast pan. I'm going to be limiting this video to catering for 100 guests. So you can now multiply whatever I'm going to tell you today to cater for 200 guests and above. To go with a liquid soap and a sponge. Yes, you don't want to pack all the dirty dishes and trays from that event and be coming back to the house to wash. Please no, just try to wash them there. Go with at least 20 liters of water. That is that keg, those keg of water. Yes, because you might go to some places you might not have water to work. Go with a flyer. You want a flyer that will tell the guests coming for that event that this is the brand that is serving us today, and they want to contact you. Is that to contact you? Make sure your flyer is something that is clear to read, that contains the services and products you offer. Then make sure you go with like a serving dish or foil tray. If you cannot get a serving dish, maybe because of cost, you can rent. And if you don't want to rent, it's not compulsory for you to go with the serving dish. You can get a foil tray, those big foil tray. That's what I use most of the time. You can go with two foil plates for small spring roll, 2 foil plates for samosas, and depending on the size of the foil plates, you can use a medium one. Then 2 foil plates for puff, and 2 foil plates or 1 foil plate for your protein. So you can go like that. Then also go with your hand towels, and I used to wipe your hands. Some are also going to use to wipe their hands. Then go with disposable gloves, this nylon gloves that they sell. Please go with them. Your servers should put that gloves on immediately they're ready to serve. And also go with like a nose cap. This nose cap, please go with that too. So I'm listing out the items. Then go with a uniform. So if you don't have like a branded vest, I have a branded vest on my brand. If you don't have a branded vest that you and your servers can use, you can make sure that you yourself have a branded vest. And sometimes I go with some servers that are on the big side, my branded vest does not they cannot wear my branded vest. So I'll tell them to go with I'll pick a general color that is particular to my brand. Look very smart when you go to dispatch. Then you go with a cover cloth for your table. We are going to be displaying your chops before you serve. So you also go with your mix. Your mix. If you are making puff puff, go with your puff puff mix. Don't mix the puff puff with liquid from the house. No, just make sure that you have a puff puff mix. I have a puff puff mix recipe already on this channel. I'll drop the link to that video too in the description box in this video, guys. Description box in this video. So go with your puff puff mix. Immediately you come to the event and you've done your setup, next thing you do is to wash your hands and mix your puff puff. You know, you're already coming to puff puff mix. Yes, so wash your hand and mix your puff puff so that by the time you are done frying your spring roll and samosa, your puff puff mix will be ready. Within 30 to 45 minutes, my puff puff mix has proven and the puff batter is ready for frying. Now go with your already ready to fry samosas and spring roll. Go with your ready to fry samosas and spring roll. You must have done your samosas and spring roll in your house and you freeze them. Now when you are freezing your samosas and spring roll, don't freeze them in a plastic plate. Freeze them in a Ziploc bag. I've talked about this in one of my Smallchops video where I made 101 spring roll and samosa, I think. I'll drop the link also in the description box within this video. So you add your Smallchops, your spring roll, your samosa into a Ziploc bag. Then freeze well with this, and then you freeze them. Then once you're about to go for that event, take that Smallchops Ziploc bag, put them into a cooler so that it retains that frozen stage to get to your event, because you're going to fry that Smallchops, those spring roll and samosa, while it is still in that frozen cool stage. Please, not cool, frozen stage. You want to make sure it's frozen, because if you allow it to the froze, by the time the Smallchops get into the fire, it's going to scatter and it's going to be a disaster. So you want to make sure that your Smallchops is in the samosa and spring roll and they are in frozen stage, so that when you get there, you start frying. Now the first thing you should start frying is your samosas and spring roll, because they take time to fry. Then your protein, if you are going with beef, make sure you must have already made that beef from your home, from your office, from your studio, from your workplace before you go to the event. So when you just go there, you're not frying any protein again. It's already prepared. If it is the grilled protein, you grill it from the house, and before you come to the event, so add it to your Smallchops content, your Smallchops plate. If it is just fried, you fry it before bringing. If it is fried and sauce, that is, you put your protein into sauce, you also do that before coming. Now this is quite different for grills sometimes, because sometimes some clients tell you that I want you to grill proteins for me at the venue. So if your client tells you that they want to grill up their protein for them, maybe they have like a special extra like proteins for all the guests. They want extra protein, grilled protein for the guests, apart from the ones in the Smallchops plate or Smallchops pack plate. Yes, that means you're going with your grill oven, that grill, you're going with it to that event. And then you make sure you marinate your protein before you go. So when you just go there, while you are doing your setup, while you are doing your setup of your tables and all that, you add your charcoal into your grill oven, and then you start grilling the already marinated protein. Then you go with a lot of salvage paper, because you do a lot of cleaning, I usually like adding salvage to each of my plates. Prepare some of the things you are going to be using ahead of time. Apart from your puff mix, your samosa and spring roll, you must have prepared and you freeze. Another thing is your plate. Now for my plate, each of my plates I'm going to be using, depending on the plate I'm using. If I'm using like a normal disposable plates, all those disposable round plates, I usually wrap my tissue. I wrap it in a very stylish way, and I use sellotape to attach it to the plate. Then my snack picker, either if I'm using a fancy fork or a skewer, I used to add my stickers to the snack picker. If you watched one of my Smallchops that I've showed on this channel, you'll see why I showed that added my tissue to the side of my plate, and then added my sticker. This way, you've already saved yourself and your server some stress. So that you just get to the event. All you need to do is to place those your plates on the tray, and when your shops are ready and you just apportion them into those plates. It also makes your work look very professional, because when your client is done eating your small chops, you don't need to start looking for hanky here and there to clean up. No, you just need to just detach the tissue paper from the plate and clean up. And trust me, any client who sees such packages, or any guest sees such packages, you want to patronize it later, your sticker is already there. So if your a guest sees it, like, wow, I love this service, I love this presentation, they want to patronize you. The kind of event you're going to cater for matters. If you're going to be catering for like a wedding, a white wedding, a reception, for that wedding, you go with like an English kind of serving. Like your plate, you can use the regular disposable plate or any other fancy plate. If you are doing like a traditional wedding service, you're going to serve at a traditional wedding, or for like a burial, or for like a birthday of an elderly person, you use like a woven basket, or the small basket. This woven basket, it gives more sense. Only for like a children party, the children like all these color fancy things, you go for packs that are colorful, that are fancy. You can go for pouch bags that are very colorful, very fancy packs. So please try to be creative when serving at an event. You also need to go with your serving trays. Serving trays can be square, can be circle, can be stainless, can be plastic. A pot, yes, a pot that has a lid. If you watch that my A to Z starter pack, Smallchops business starter pack, I made mention of that pot. That pot has a lid. Now once you finish frying, you don't want to transfer your oil, hot oil, into your keg. It's going to disintegrate that keg, because that oil is very hot. And if you are finished serving at an event and you don't have anything to do again, and maybe perhaps you have another event to cater for, you don't have to start waiting for the oil to get cold. So I'm waiting because of my oils, I'm waiting. No, you just transfer that oil, that hot oil, into that pot that has a lid, and cover it. This way it's safe. It's not going to have any issues with anybody. It's not going to burn anybody. Fork for frying, and also this dowel rods, or you can call it cane. This cane, bamboo stick or cane, you used to stir. Please go with that too.
Please kindly subscribe if you have not done that, and leave me hi I'm new in the comment section, and I promise to leave you a special virtual hug in my next video. Today's special virtual hug is for Nancy Kamsi, Dede Maurice, Lily Akoze, Blessing Oko, Rita Oyakia, Sweet Ellen, She Speaks, Onyime Shate, Miss Gift Steven, George Chooks, and Orbit Graham Douglas. Thank you guys so much for your support. It means a lot to my channel.
Come back to our clients. Now a client chats you up and say, hi, so I want you to cater I want to cater for my event. I want you to serve small chops at my event. And the first thing I told you is, don't panic, don't be so excited to state a price. And the next thing you want to do is quotation. You want to first of all make sure that you tell your client to give you time, at least an hour, to send in quotation. This shows professionalism. Yes, it shows that you are very formal with your business. Now for your quotation, there are different ways you can send quotation. We can send quotation by a creating on Google Docs or any other Word app you have, or you can use a PDF, create it to Google Docs and send it by PDF file. But I don't like stress. I don't like stress. I like something that's very easy. That is why I have an app that creates quotations for me. It already has the template on ground. Mine is just to infuse this and this here and there, and in less than 10 minutes my quotation is ready and I'll send it to my clients. App is something I have a class on. I taught how to create quotations in this app. That class covers how to create invoices for your business. That class covers how to create invoices for your customers, how to create quotations for your customers. And guess what? That class is just 500 naira. If you want to join that class to get the app that I use is a free app If you want to join that class to get the app, just join by the link I'll drop in the comment section and also in the description box. The class is just 500 now. Now your quotation should have one heading that has to be your brand. Like my brand is Sussy's Cakes, Confectionery and Events. Then it should have your brand name, your brand logo, your phone number, your social media handle, WhatsApp, Telegram, WhatsApp, Instagram, Facebook, and the like. And then a website. If you have a website like myself, I have a website like your Jumia and Konga website. I also have a website for my brand. So you should have a website and your address. Two, your quotation should contain the name of the client, the phone number of the client, and the address of the client. Make sure your client tells you the exact location. It's very, very necessary. Don't let them tell you like a guesswork around. Trust me, if a client tells you around, by the time you're about to do that delivery, you're going to spend times two when you actually get the real location. Next thing it should contain is the title, like quotation for 100 guests, quotation for 200 guests, or Smallchops quotation for, because I'm into food trade businesses, I'm into surprise business packages. So sometimes my quotation can read surprise for, quotation for, get the idea now. So quotation for 100 guests. Then after that, then the next thing you're going to ask your client is what should be the content of each of the plates. Yes, what should be the content of your Smallchops plates? I have a basic Smallchops pack. As at 2022, that Smallchops pack I was still charging 800 naira. In 2023, it became 900 naira. But now, 2024, with the inflation everywhere, that basic pack is now 1,200. So my basic pack includes one meaty samosa, one meaty spring roll. That is, there is meat alongside the vegetables. So that the sauce is mixed with meat. So one meaty samosa, one meaty spring roll, 4 small chop size puff puff, and one beef cut. Sometimes I can make it sauce, sometimes I can just fry it like that. That is my basic pack. Before I generally add mosa to it, but I remove mosa because plantain is now on the high side. So it is just one meaty samosa, one meaty spring roll, one beef cut, and 4 small shop size puff puff. That also makes my basic pack. Your small shops can also include sausages. It can include a lot of things. Now I have a list of my small chops content of things I usually use for small chops or as my small chops platter or packs, and this list is on my website. I'll drop the link on my website in the description box beneath this video, so you can go there and check and see the unit prices for all these things. So don't have the idea that small shop is just samosa and spring roll. Also ask your clients for the content, and your clients say, okay, I want to stick with your basic pack. That means 1,200 per head. So you say your unit price is 1,200 multiplied by 100. If I'm using this app I'm using, it will just do the calculation for you automatically. So now, if your client tells you, oh no, I don't want to go 1, 2, I want to remove some things so that it become lesser, please do your costing before you reduce the price for that person. Do your costing before you reduce the price for that person. Then if your clients want to add other things to that pack, I want it more sophisticated. I want it to add, like, let's say gizzard cut, chicken cut. As they're adding items to it, it is increasing per head. Now there's a difference between costing per head and costing per table. This costing I'm giving you is costing per head, that is per person, unit price per person. So after adding that, the next thing on your quotation, after your unit price is your servers. For 100 guests, I usually go with 2 servers. As at 2023, a server usually collects 5,000 naira. So but now let's say within 6,000 to 7,000 naira. So let's say servers is 14,000 naira, at least 7,000 naira, 14,000 naira. It is not negotiable, please. Another thing on your quotation that should come on your quotation is transportation. Now, that's why I say you need to have a detailed, exact location. Also, have somewhere that you can go together with for event like this, like a cabman. You cannot use Uber or Taxify or both for this kind of services, because the person has to carry you there and bring you back. I don't like a situation whereby I'm going for an event, my spouse are coming there separately, I'm going separately, and they'll start calling, where are you? Are you not there? I'm there. To avoid all that, I like, even when I'm going for my surprise gigs, I pick up my any other person following me. I pick them up. We meet at the point. I pick all of them up. We go together. We come together. If you don't have somebody like that, if you don't have somebody like that, you can use Uber to determine the price. Just put the exact location on Uber or Bolt or Taxify, sorry, and it's going to bring out the price. Then you can now either add a little on top of it or reduce it. So if Uber gives like 5,000 naira for a particular location, just an instant, you know that just take you to the event. So if you're going to write a quotation, if you're going to write that in your quotation, you're not going to write 5,000 naira, you write 10,000 naira. That is your cost of going and coming. Very important is miscellaneous. I've had people come, clients tell you that please don't add miscellaneous, it's not necessary, everything is okay. Please don't allow anybody confuse you or convince you to remove your miscellaneous charges. If you are going to work to serve at an event, you are going to fry and serve at an event center or a hotel, they will ask you to pay a stipend, like they call it is it I forgot what they call it. Is it damage fee or something? Yes, they will have to make a payment at that event. That payment should not come from your pocket. It should come from what your client pays you. So that's what one of these miscellaneous covers. If you're doing a traditional marriage, for instance, if it's a traditional marriage or an event for an elderly person, I want to serve with something very fancy, like a woven plate or something. I know I'm doing it for myself. I know it's my presentation, but yes, I must still add that as part of the charges. It is called miscellaneous. Now, if you don't have something like shaving dishes, you don't have like a tray, you don't have like a table, you don't have a cover clothes, you need to rent. That's where your miscellaneous is covering. If you also don't have things like a sticker, you need to do a sticker, you need to brand. These are what your miscellaneous services covers. Your miscellaneous charges covers. Basically, my miscellaneous charges for mainland, if I'm delivering something within the mainland, if I'm serving within the mainland, it's 10,000 naira, basically. But sometimes I can increase it to as much as 15,000 naira, depending on the type of event. So if you are telling me that I'm going to serve for a wedding, I'm going to be serving at a wedding, I will charge you maybe 10 to 12,000 naira. If it's for like an elderly person birthday or a burial, you know what? There's some things that are involved. I'll charge like 15,000 naira basically, because of the things I'm going to add to it, like my garnishes, my fruit, my cucumber. I want to add cucumber slices to my plate. So you want to put that into consideration. Then the next thing again on your quotation should be your service charge. I have heard clients argue this service charges to me. What do you need service charge for? This and that. Please don't allow anybody convince you to remove your service charge. It is just paying yourself. Yes, I pay myself for leaving the comforts of my house, so I'll just put it inside different pack and give it to dispatch to go and deliver. So I'm paying myself for coming to your event to work for you at that event. So that service charge, my service charge basically is 10,000 naira. I can go a little, I can do 8,000 naira for you, but I don't go less than 8,000 naira. It's mostly 10,000 naira. Sometimes I can increase it to 15,000 naira, depending on some factors, like the place the client is ordering from. If the client is ordering from like the island, I'll charge you more. If your client is ordering for some particular event, I'll charge more. Then if my servers, if their own service fee is around, let's say, 7,000 naira or 6,000 naira, that is my service charge. My own service charge will be around 12,000 naira. Yes. So you pay yourself for working at that event. It's not something your client should tell you to remove. Please don't remove it. No. Because after the event, if you break down, so that service charge you remove money from. That service charge is like your own profit. It's like money you pay for yourself. Your quotation should have your brand identity, your client identity, then the heading, then one, your unit price, second your service fee, your transportation, your miscellaneous, and your service charge. then you can now put the total and you can give your clients. So I hope with all this that you've learned today, you now know what you need to have on ground before you venture into small shops catering. And I hope you also now know what you need in your quotation. Also, if you're interested in my invoice creation class, that is the class I taught how to create invoices and how to create quotation using a free app. This particular quotation you are seeing on my screen here, if you are interested in that class, that class is just for 500 naira. Yes, we accept payments from international students. I have international students on that platform. So you can join the class and create quotation easily. Within 10 minutes, you create your quotations and you pass it to your client. And it is shareable. You can share it on WhatsApp, you can share it on Instagram and everywhere. It saves you the stress. So it saves a lot of stress and it helps you to do your multiplication well. And even when you want to give discounts, it helps you to give discounts well. Yeah, that's what the app does for you. So I hope you enjoyed this video. If you have any questions, please leave it for me in the comment section. And if I am watching this video to this point and not yet subscribed, please subscribe. Please subscribe because it means so much to me. It means I encourage you. So to my audience, I have to especially say thank you guys for your support. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the push and the comments. To my new viewers, please subscribe. And once you subscribe, leave in the comment section, hi, I'm new here. And I assure you I'll leave a special virtual shout out in my next video. So if you have any questions, please ask in the comment section. You know I always respond to your question. I love reading them and responding. Also, if it's any other thing you want to talk about, especially the small shops, please let me know in the comment section. I will share a subsequent video about it. So that's all for me for today. Thank you so much for joining me. See you in the subsequent video. Bye for now.